So I've decided to get into competitive pet battling, and it took me quite some time to level up a team of good pets. So for my first pet team, I have the Wolvar pup, Ghostly Skull, and the magical snowman. I humbly call this the Dream Team. For the Dream Team, I either start off with the Wolvar pup or the Ghostly Skull, and never with the snowman. For the Wolvar pup, he has this nice little ability called Snap Trap that can't miss an application, has a random chance to go off and do a ton of damage and stun for one turn. The pup is in here almost exclusively for his trap ability. He also has a nice Whirlwind ability to attack the whole team for a respectable amount of damage. And when both his trap and Whirlwind are on cooldown, he just hits with a basic attack that isn't anything special. And the Wolvar pup isn't fast, so he usually goes second. Now, the Ghostly Skull usually sets up the match for the pup and snowman to do damage. Rarely do I actually switch him out once he's in. He has Ghostly Bite, which deals a shit ton of damage and stuns the skull for one round. If you get this bite to crit, you can actually one-shot some pets. Once the skull dies and goes into his round of immunity, he can use his Unholy Ascension and debuff the entire team for 9 rounds to take 25% more damage, which is great for the pup to go in and whirlwind the whole team and for the snowman to go in and wreck house. The snowman is the ringer. This guy usually goes in last after the enemy team has been debuffed with Unholy Ascension and there's a trap in place from the Wolvar pup. The snowman is decently fast for how hard he hits, so he usually goes first, and that's what lets him do his major damage. The snowman does what I like to call the wombo combo, in that he uses his freeze on the target so they can't switch out and count as being chilled. Then uses deep freeze, which hits for a shit ton of damage and stuns the target if they are chilled. If they aren't chilled, then it still has a 25% chance to stun. The reason the wombo combo is so amazing is because the Frost Nova itself actually hits just as hard as a basic attack, and prevents them from switching out to avoid a guaranteed stun deep freeze. Deep freeze itself hits for about double the amount of a basic attack, which in itself is good, but the stun on top of that just makes it amazing. Then, once they're stunned and not able to switch out because of the Frost Nova, you finish them off with your magical hat. And since the snowman is fast enough to go first most of the time, you can get off all 3 abilities while only getting hit once in return. Alright, so for this one, I'm going against a Valkyrie, little imp guy, and the little fire hatchling. So, he starts off with his imp, like most people do with the imp. You'll see imps a lot in competitive pet battles, because the imp is really fast, he can switch out your pet to really screw over your strategy. See, snowman comes in next. Snowman I don't like to go in early in the fight at all. So he puts up his immolation, because he's about to switch out. What the imps do is they switch out your pet, put up immolation, and then switch out while their immolation does damage to your active pet while he's in the back row. So I prevent him from switching out, because I knew that's what he was trying to do, go into the wombo combo, and he switches out once the Frost Nova wears off. So I should have switched into the Ghostly Skull right here, but instead I go into the Wolvar pup to try to set up a snap trap, which is not a good thing because undeads hit way hard against humanoids. So I set up the trap, and it activates, so I switch out during his turn that he's stunned. Go into the Ghostly Skull so I can set up the Unholy Ascension. Then I go into a Ghostly Bite, which does about half his health and damage. So really good bite. It didn't miss, and it did what it's supposed to do. So I just pass. I'm just going to sit on the Ghostly Skull until he dies, and I can set up Unholy Ascension. He uses his Haunt ability. When he uses Haunt, it puts a debuff on you for 4 turns, and after the 4 turns is over, he comes back to life. Because he's not actually dead, he just looks like he's dead. So once the Haunt is gone, he comes back to life with whatever health he had before he used it. So he goes into his Imp again, because he's trying to switch me out, but I get lucky right here, and his little switch attack misses, so I just go into the Bite, and he dies in 1 hit. Because usually you don't want the Ghostly Skull to actually hit you when the Imp is out, because he can kill the Imp in like 1 hit, because the Ghostly Bite is crazy strong. So I got unlucky and died in that move anyway, and if you die during a stun, you can't actually use any abilities during your turn of immunity. So you never want to use Ghostly Bite right before you're about to die, so you just keep attacking with basic attacks until you die, so you can actually set up a Holy Ascension. But I wasn't expecting to die right there, so that really screwed me over. So I go into the Deep Freeze to try to bring the bird guy below 50% health so I can be faster than him, and he switches out into an Unborn Valkyrie, and that works out just fine for me. So I kill him with that 1 hit, go into a magical hat, and I survive a turn. And then I'm just going to spam hat on him since Deep Freeze is on cooldown and hat does 50% more damage against him. And with the first hat, I bring him below my speed, and now I get to go first. So Snowman is faster than most pets. Alright, so this next one's against a Moth, the Fell Flame, and the Armored Cup for some reason. Robo Cup. So I start off with Kira's Wolvar to set up the Snap Trap, and then I'm just going to switch out so he can't immolate me. Conflagrate. So he goes into his Conflagration, but it doesn't do its double damage since I wasn't actually hurt. So the snap trap goes off, and I get the ghostly skull, so he loses half his health in one turn. But we're both stunned, so it kind of defeats the purpose of the stun. So he switches off into the Forest Moth, and I just go into my basic attack, because it actually hits pretty hard for the skull. And Forest Moth is way faster than me, puts me to sleep, so I'm just going to pass, while he does whatever he wants to me. So I just keep attacking with the basic attack, so I can set up the Unholy Ascension. Since my basic attack's going to go off, it's going to break that, so the Unholy Ascension will actually hit it on its next turn. So he just attacks while he waits for me to do my thing. Go into the Unholy Ascension, debuff his whole team, and go into the Tiny Snowman because it's taking 25% more damage, plus he'll take 50% more damage from my hat since it has the attribute bonus. I put him into a Frost Nova so he can't switch out, go into the Wombo combo, because why not, and then attack with the hat. But now he only has 2 pets left, and I have 2 pets. Brings out the Fell Flame that's at 50% health, and I'm just going to ride out the Snowman and see how much damage I can do before the Wolvar pup. What I should do here is switch out so he can't go into Conflagrate, but he does, and I almost die. But I lived it. Since my Snowman is faster than him, since he got lucky and lived that turn, I got to go off a little bit more. So I know I'm about to die soon, so I just go into a Deep Freeze because I know I don't have enough time for the Wombo combo. But it looks like I did because I got lucky. He goes into his Repair after the 2 turns, because he'll most likely survive at least 2 hits. He'll get like a crap ton of health left. So since I know it won't really matter if I kill him or not, I just go into a Snap Trap. And then I just keep spamming basic attack. I'm a little bit faster than the mobilized Robocup, and the thing goes off, kills him, comes back to life, and he's stunned during the turn he comes back to life, so the Wolvar pup is going to punch him to finish him off. Alright, so for the next one, we have a Robo-Chick, Celestial Dragon, and the Anubish Idol. So I start off with the Wolvar pup so I can go into the Snap Trap, and he has his little Robo-Chick who sets up his speed boost. Now he's faster than all of my guys. I switch out into the Snowman since I notice he has the attribute bonus against him and he gets a stun off. So I tried to set up the Wombo combo with the Frost Nova, but he switches out into the Idol. And since he switched out into the Idol, I know he can't switch out, I go into the Ghostly Skull to set up the Unholy Ascension, and because he has the attribute bonus against the Idol. Idol sets up Sandstorm though, which really sucks for the Ghostly Skull because his Ghostly Bite has a really low chance to actually hit. But I get lucky and it goes off, does 800 damage, and once Frost Nova wears out, he switches out to Celestial Dragon. With Ghostly Skull this round, I was actually trying out Death Coil. It does hit less than my other basic attack, but it does heal me for half the damage it does. And that little heal I found was actually working out not half bad. The other attack hits way harder, the other basic attack I mean, but the Death Coil allows me to actually last out debuffs like his stupid Fire Breath he keeps spamming on me. Because of that little debuff, I was able to live a little bit longer than I would have if I had just used the other ability. He uses his Dragon Roar, increases his health by 5 times his level for 9 rounds, and I just keep spamming Death Coil on him. Now that I'm dead, I get 1 more Death Coil, and I'm going to set up the Unholy Ascension. At this point, he still has all 3 of his members alive, so I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage, because usually I like the Ghostly Skull to at least get them almost dead, but this guy still has at least 1 or 2 hits left in him. So I go into the Snowman to see if I can get off a really quick hit. Go into the Frost Nova, try to set up the Wombo combo, but there's no reason for that. I just don't want him to switch out a low health pet. So I use the Magical Hat to finish it off so I don't have to waste my Deep Freeze. Alright, and then he switches out. You can either go into the Robo Chicken or the Idol. Robo Chicken, a little bit better choice right there. Go into the Deep Freeze, try to get a ton of damage off, but I get unlucky and it misses. Deep Freeze has a really low chance to hit too, so that's expected sometimes. This Robo-Chick is really destroying the Wolvar pup though, so I just set up the trap to see if I can get lucky with that. He sets up his charge ability, which is going to do a crap ton of damage on his next hit. See, that's about as much as a Ghostly Bite, so I'm just going to keep attacking with his basic attack to see if I can get just a little bit down because I'm really screwed at this point. I have to basically hope for a lucky trap to win this. So I have a half-health Snowman against his 2 pets still alive, and his Robo-Chick still hasn't activated his failsafe yet. He's charging up for his super hard ability to try to kill my Snowman in 1 hit, and luckily for me, I have the resistance bonus against robots, so it doesn't really do as much as he thought it would, but it still takes me 2 to 3 hits to kill the Robo-Chick, and I'm at a huge disadvantage right here, so I just do a Hail Mary Deep Freeze to see if it'll kill him or not, and I get a lucky stun, and then I get a lucky Snap Trap,